Welcome back to another predictions video. It is Wednesday the 6th of March. Thank you for your support so far. Somebody asked in the comments on the previous video, can you do this every day? Well, I've committed this week, of course, to Monday to Friday. If you want to see these videos all the time, hit like, subscribe. If we get to 10,000 subscribers by next Monday, I will commit to another 5 days of video next week. We've got Europa League today. You can see we've got some games in Germany as well, the Oberliga. And we've got more championship games as well, which I will look into because just there right now is Middlesbrough Norwich, Cardiff Huddersfield, interesting game, Watford Swansea, Southampton Preston. That one could be a tight affair. Without looking at the data, just knowing both teams, they're no strangers to a tight game. And of course, we've got Champions League action once more, Madrid against Leipzig and Man City against Copenhagen. You can see that going exactly one way. So let's get into it then, but first, yesterday's video, thank you for the comments. This was the winning comment on screen right now in terms of the Odd Alerts Pro, so I'll be in touch with you. But I just wanted to show another comment as well, this one. Do you think the EFL is less or more predictable than the EPL? And this was my answer. I just wanted to share it as well on here because I think it's a good question. I think the Premier League is more predictable this season. Look at the gap between 23rd and 15th in the Championship. It is very close, 5 points in it. This shows that anybody can beat anybody. So in terms of full-time result and trying to predict that, I think the Premier League is more predictable. That doesn't necessarily make it more valuable because if something is too predictable or very predictable, then the bookmakers are not going to offer any odds for it. I think anybody can beat anybody in the Championship, and that shows with the bottom half of the table. I think the gap in quality in the Premier League is only getting bigger between the teams in the bottom half and essentially the top 10. Then you've got another gap between the top 2 or 3 teams in Arsenal, City and Liverpool and everybody else. So thank you for that comment, really appreciate it, and get your comments in on this video and you will of course be entered into a draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. Now let's take a look at some games. So first game of the day, Wednesday. How much weight do you put when you're doing your research or when you're looking at a team? How much weight do you put on the more recent form? Because if you were to just look at this and say, well, the home team, QPR, scored 1.12, failed to score in just under 30% of games, BTTS just 60% and 47% for West Brom, you might not think much of it, but if you look at the results, you can see they have won the last 3 games, including an away victory at Leicester, table-topping Leicester. Rotherham they beat, and then Bristol City as well. And for West Brom, they are in good form as well. You would expect them to be in the playoffs this season. Away from home, not as good. Just 1 victory since the 23rd of December. Sorry, since the 12th of December. So for me, this one looks okay for BTTS, but I've not checked out the odds yet. I'm expecting them to be a little bit higher than the average. So over evens here with 188bet and evens exactly with Bet365. For me, that looks good. Maybe you want to pair this with something else to create a double for Wednesday. I do like singles as well, especially when it's evens or above. But I will pair this with something. So with that in mind, let's go on the hunt for another game. And I'm just going to add this to my predictions on Odd Alerts as well. BTTS 1.88. So this is actually a value bet at evens or above evens. Anything above 1.88. So we're happy with that indeed. If you want value bets at any time, by the way, just head to the value bets page. You can see the probability model output here. This is home wins by default, and then you will see the odds that are, well, peak odds on Bet365 here, for instance, here on Pinnacle, Bet365, 1xBet, William Hill also included. More bookmakers and more markets coming soon, including a full suite of markets and probability outputs for corners. So that should be interesting. Stay tuned for that. So what we're going to do is change the stats scroller. If you don't know that you can do this, you can actually change the data. I'm not sure if the drop down is recording, but we've got full-time result, BTTS overs, total corners, first half corners. You get the idea. There's a few categories here. We're going to click on first half goals, and that will go away and grab all the data for these teams for first half goals. So now you can just continue to scroll through the day looking at a different type of market and outcome. So we've got all the first half goals, the average first half goal time, the average first goal time for these set of championship games. It is before 45 for all of these games, to be fair. And then you can see the averages for goals scored, winning at half-time, the actual occurrence of a first half goal. So the highest is Swansea, who are away at Watford. And they've scored 0.66 goals per first half played this season. The highest out of all those games is Southampton, 0.89. That will lead us into this game, Southampton-Preston. I mentioned at the start of the video, or maybe I did, I recorded a couple of intros because I was stumbling with my words. But Southampton come into this, it's an interesting one. The top of the championship is fantastic at the moment. The top and the bottom, this is what I mean, it's just a very, very competitive league. I think in a way it makes it a little bit more predictable in terms of you expect these teams sometimes to come and give a good go because everybody knows in the Championship that everybody can beat everybody. And look at these results for Southampton. 3-4 against Birmingham, and then they've lost those couple of home games as we just saw. So it is 3 defeats in the last 5. They're scoring goals. I don't think that has ever been their issue. And look, they can always revert to the form that they showed literally a month ago, which was basically 28, 29 games unbeaten, was it? Only bettered this season by Falkirk and Leverkusen, of course, in Germany. So BTTS in the last 3 games, 4 of the last 5 for Southampton. Are we about to put a BTTS double in for Preston? I would never usually touch BTTS because they're just able to keep clean sheets, Preston, for the last sort of 18 months. They do go through spells. I mean, they started the season very well, hardly conceding, and it was exactly the same last year, and then they fell off. It's a strange pattern that I think Ryan Lowe should probably look at because they do come in and out of form, and you can see it quite clearly with the colours as well. Now they are unbeaten again, coming into form at the right time. Can they make a late push? I do think Southampton will score here, so in terms of the clean sheet, I think Preston can probably forget about it, even though they have had 2 on the bounce, but Southampton are a different beast. The previous game was a 2-2 draw at the end of October, so given Southampton's recent form, 2 defeats in a row at home to Hull City and Millwall. Again, Millwall, as I say with the Championship, I know I sound like a broken record, but teams really can come in and out of form, and it moves you up the table pretty quickly. So we'll look at the odds for BTTS here, and this could be a BTTS double potentially. 1.87 at the moment with Betfair, 1.78, 1.8 with Bet365. So I'm also going to set an alert for this game. Just let me know if it hits evens in play. Now, some interesting timing data here. In the last 10 games overall, so anywhere, home or away, Preston have scored just 3 second-half goals. In the last 10 away games, still just 3 second-half goals. But they are scoring more in the first half, so they're looking to get games done and dusted and then hold on. I don't think that's a great approach against Southampton, who will try and just keep the ball for as long as they can. But if we look at the home games for Southampton, they have actually scored 2 goals per second half compared to 0.7. So just going and looking and digging a little bit deeper at the timing data gives us a whole other angle to potentially explore with this game. So this is a BTTS double with these games. QPR West Brom evens and Southampton Preston just under evens. Now you can play them as singles or whatever you like. We can maybe find some other games in the rest of this video as well. But yeah, quite like that, 3.6. And obviously dig deeper into the games if you want. I will link all of these games in the description of this video, so feel free to check them out. On to the Champions League then, and Real Madrid, Leipzig, just 1-0 from the first leg, but I don't believe Leipzig will get through. I think they've got a slim chance. They've got a chance, of course. You never know what will happen in a game. Could be an injury or a red card for Madrid, but this is Ancelotti we're talking about, and that is the home form you see there for Real Madrid. No defeats when looking at the last 25 games, and you don't expect them to lose this game, to be honest, and I think the bookmakers will be the same. 1.57 for them to win after 90 minutes. They, of course, don't need to win the game, given that they have a 1-goal lead from the first game. BTTS quite low. Let's have a look at the probability model. 1.62 the bookmakers have it at, and we have it at 1.75. So negative value, and the bookmakers giving it a slightly stronger chance of BTTS. Interestingly, this game actually appears on the trends page for corners, for over 8.5 corners, and we can look at the overall form of both teams, and we'll show the latest form because I think it was using the Champions League form actually. So if we look at that and we're looking at overall games as well, you can see there's been a lot of corners in the Champions League for Real Madrid. Every single game, so 7 out of 7 at this point, has seen 9 or more corners. 71% for Leipzig. So we'll jump over to Bet365 and see if there is something we can do within that. So Leipzig to have more than 3 corners, that has actually happened in 8 out of the last 10 away games for Leipzig. Now, in terms of Madrid conceding corners, it is a bit lower. But given the context of the game, I think you've got to have a bit of bravery about you. If you're Leipzig, you're playing against Madrid. You're losing anyway from the first leg, so you know what they're going to try and do. You want to be aggressive. You want to try and get the ball back off them, test them. So, yeah, over 3 corners for Leipzig. And as I say, it's happened in 8 of the last 10 away games that they played. Now, the referee for this one is David Massa, who is from Italy. Serie A is his domestic league, and he produces a lot of cards. If we look at his combined data from, this takes like the last sort of 3 to 6 months and gives you a roundup regardless of competition. So 4.96 cards per game. And if we look at his Serie A record, it is 5.1 per game. In terms of the teams, he has booked both teams in every single game he's officiated in Serie A. I believe both teams will receive a card in this game. And both teams to receive a card takes this up to 1.83, which you might be happy with right there, right now. So I'll leave that one up to you. You can potentially add something else to it. Let us know in the comments what you would add. Do you think there'll be a goal in this game? I'm hesitant to put in like BTTS for this, or Leverkusen to score, Madrid to qualify, because the odds are really, really not worth it in my opinion, for a game that, you know, these games can get out of control, and that does, if it was to get out of control, that doesn't affect our bet right now, I don't believe. I think if a game gets out of control, there will be more cards, there will be more corners. But let me know what you think on that one, what you would add to it. Of course, there is player props and stuff like that, player cards, player shots, tackles and whatnot. And I will put a link into the description for the player search tool as well, which a few people asked, where can we find that? So I'll just show you on the menu here. You go to more and then player search, and it will let you filter on all of the upcoming games. So you can see there is 1,415 players in this. If we just put accurate crosses here to something and then hit search, you can see it goes down to 3 straight away based on the accurate crosses data. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Leave a comment if you're enjoying them. Let me know what you think about the games that we've selected in this video and what you want to see next. And remember, from the start of the video, if you want me to continue doing these videos every day for the next week as well, we need to hit 10,000 subscribers by Monday morning, I'll say. Sunday evening, Monday morning, so that I can then plan the next week of videos. I enjoy it, of course, but I've got to balance the time with actually making and building odd alerts. So if it's, you know, if it's worth my time to produce these videos, I will 100% keep doing it.